Hello, horse lovers. I was really hoping to get this video up by Thanksgiving, but technology is not my friend, and I ran into some problems uploading, so I had to redo this. But there aren't a lot of Thanksgiving horse stories out there, but one that I've been thinking of lately is called Autumn Trail. It's one of the Saddle Club series by Bonnie Bryant. Now, in case you haven't read any of the Saddle Club series, it's about three girls who are best friends and they ride horses together at Pine Hollow Stables. There's Stephanie, who goes by the name of Stevie because she's such a tomboy, and she is a major practical joker. She definitely thinks outside the box, and she's always getting into trouble, but she always comes up with creative solutions to get out of trouble as well. The second girl is Carol, and she is the most horse obsessed of all of them. She doesn't know exactly what she wants to do with her life, but she knows whether she becomes an equine vet, whether she becomes a trainer, a breeder, a riding instructor, she's always going to be working with horses. The third girl, and the girl who this book focuses most on, is Lisa. Lisa is the newest to riding, but by this point in the series, she's become good at it, as good as Stevie and Carol. She's definitely ready for the advanced riding lessons, but she still has a special love for the horse that taught her to ride. And the reason I've been thinking of this book lately is because that horse reminds me so much of a pony that I knew who reached the end of his life lately. I talked in a recent video about Smedley, a little pony who taught me a lot about riding and driving. He was one of those ponies that you could trust perfectly, put a baby on his back, go back in the house, come back in a couple of hours, the baby would be fine. Well, the main horse in the story, Pepper, was just like that. And I love that Lisa never forgot how much Pepper taught her because I think anybody who's taken riding lessons has stories about that one special horse that maybe they never owned, but that horse is always going to be important to them. Well, with Thanksgiving coming up, Stevie comes up with the idea of let's all do something to not just give thanks, but actually remember the giving part of Thanksgiving. And Stevie rightfully points out, what do people do every Thanksgiving? Well, they donate to food drives and they clear out the can of lima beans that nobody was going to eat anyway. So she's like, that's not really giving. That's not really being selfless. So each of us has to do something that we will in no way get repaid for. And the other girls say, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Well, Stevie's project for Thanksgiving is she gives up a family trip that she had been looking forward to because the guy who runs Pine Hollow Stables, Max, he wanted to go on a trip that he could not have gone on because you can't just leave a stable full of horses. And even though the main stable hand, Red, would have still been around, it would have been too much work for any individual person. So Stevie says, I'll give up my family trip and I will stay and I will help with the work. Carol makes arguably even a bigger sacrifice. In fact, I don't think it's even arguable. Every horse series seems to have, and I'm sorry for the language, but a rich bitch who only rides because, look at me, I have a horse, I'm rich. And in this series, that character is Veronica D'Angelo. She and Carol have never gotten along, especially given some of Veronica's stunts in the past that have actually seriously hurt horses. But Carol finds out Veronica is going to be all alone at Thanksgiving. Her parents are going on, of all things, a golf trip and leaving her home alone. And Carol says, look, why don't you come spend Thanksgiving with my dad and me? Veronica takes her up on that and actually doesn't turn out to be that bad of a guest. Lisa doesn't know what she's going to do. She helps Stevie out at the stables because she loves horses, and of course, being around them is a great thing, and she's happy to do that. But he spends extra time giving love to Pepper, who is clearly starting to not feel well. The vet's called in and he examines Pepper and says he's simply old. There's no cure for that, and he's sorry, but he's reaching the end of his life. Lisa finds that really hard to accept, and she does all she can for Pepper. Now, Thanksgiving goes well for the girls, with Stevie actually staging an impromptu Thanksgiving pageant at the stables for the horses. Which might sound funny, but if you've ever been around horses, you know they definitely observe things. And the horses are described as being amused and watching it closely in the books, and knowing this, I believe it. I'm not at all surprised to hear that they would observe humans and be like, what's this crazy thing they're doing? Well, the day after Thanksgiving, or the night of Thanksgiving rather, Lisa has a nightmare about Pepper, and she can't shake the feeling that he needs her. So early that morning, before anyone else is awake, she heads to Pine Hollow Stables and finds him down in his stall. And she knows that she has to make the call to the vet and do the only truly unselfish thing that can be done. I find the final goodbye really touching because he said a lot of things to Pepper in there that I said to Smedley at the end. Because, she made sure to tell him thank you for all he'd done, and they say horses can't understand English, but you'd be amazed what they do understand. Well, the story ends with the girls suggesting to Max that they put up a plaque in the field where Pepper spent most of his time, just saying his name and having thank you written under it. It's a nice tribute to him. And it's shown that life continues. The girls, humorously enough, thought Max was going on a romantic trip. He was actually going on a trip to bring home a new horse. So it's kind of like life goes on, and while it's a very sad story, I think one of the most powerful moments in it is Lisa realizing that even when times are bad like that, she's very thankful that she got to know Pepper at all. And sometimes at Thanksgiving it can be hard to count our blessings, especially if things aren't going well, but it's important to always find something to be thankful for. I hope that everyone watching this has something in their life that they can think of when I mention that, and I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving, and until next time, keep horses in your life.